Good morning from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's a beautiful day, another magical day in paradise or planet hellscape according to your worldview or your experiential awareness. We'll call it paradise today because I'm alone, the neighbourhood's quiet, peaceful. I've got the birdies outside in the garden. Just put them out actually. We're a bit late hitting the ground running today because I was up during the night and then I needed to sleep longer. So it is what it is. Swings and roundabouts and psychedelic dreamers world. But I'm content and peaceful and grateful. Very grateful actually for another beautiful sunny day. And I'll just fill up my glass of water. I use old champagne bottles, from the glory days. What glory days? My friend Jared used to bring me his champagne, which were Christmas presents from his boss, and he would share it with me on Boxing Day, which was our traditional celebration. Haven't heard from him since the 14th of December. I hope he's alive. I'm not chasing him down because I made a promise to myself after all the evil that happened with, other friends in the music scene, that I'm not going to chase after people anymore. If they want to know me, they'll get in contact. If they want to spend time with me, they'll either come and see me here or they'll invite me out. They'll make an effort. And anyway, I hope he's okay. I probably should call him and make sure that he's okay because, he can be a bit unwell at times with the diabetes and, working very hard. So that's why I've kind of let it slide, because I know he's working hard and he made it abundantly clear that he was rostered on for Boxing Day and didn't know when he would have any spare time. And I said, all right, I'll see you when I see you. And basically that's how it's not a relationship, how the friendship has been navigated in the past few years is I'll see you when I see you, and when we see each other we're happy to spend time together because we're close friends. We're like brother and sister. After in February it will be 34 years of friendship by the gods. But he's been drifting the last few years, and sometimes you've just got to let people drift and let them go. There's no point holding on to people if they don't sincerely enjoy your company or want to spend time with you anymore. You just got to let it all go and wash away, and in that void that's left when people leave and drift, heal and allow and await people who do want to be with you and spend time with you, quality time, to enter into that void, I guess. It's a bit weird though. It's been going on like this since the COVID vaccines. People not being, I guess, not really coping very well and just drifting. So I might be here alone, but I'm not actually alone. I've got my beautiful birds who are very happy to be out in the garden. BB Turkey came. He was eating the lorikeet mix, which I really don't want him doing, but I hadn't put out his seeds yet because I was still getting ready for the morning. So I put his seeds out and he immediately hopped off the top of the bench and went to the seeds. So he knows the lorikeet mix is not really his, but he prefers the seeds now. But he's had a little feed and he's hoochie scooching all the mulch back onto his mound. That mound gets bigger and bigger and no babies. It's been months of this now. Shouldn't be this long. From what I remember the last time, it only went on for about 2 or 3 months. It's been more than that now, hasn't it? I'll have to go back over my YouTube videos. I usually make an announcement when they're starting to build their mound, because it's so cute how they have trails of garden material all trailed, all slowly being scooched up, and they deposit it on the mound. It's hard work for a bird. It's why I've started feeding him, more regularly, because I figure he's working for his supper. He enjoys living here too. He goes back to the forest, doesn't live here all the time, but he's here while he's doing the mound building, empire building. Oh, you have to laugh. I've given Brussels sprouts, because I don't like Brussels sprouts, and I've given a Brussels sprout to Kermie, and he chucked out the outer leaves, which was a good decision because they're usually bitter anyway, and he's just poking at it with his beak, looking at it with kind of not quite sure what it is, because I've never given him a Brussels sprout before, because I certainly wouldn't have bought them, not willingly anyway, but they came as part of my fruit and veg parcel, so the birds can enjoy them, or I'll give them to the worm farm. I'm not going to eat them. But he's got a piece of banana now he's carrying in his beak, lifting up in his beak. There's strawberries in there too, Kermie. You'll like the strawberries. The Brussels sprout was a bit of a gamble, but he says, actually, Mama, I'm happy with my dried piece of desiccated, dehydrated banana, which is good, because when I was first giving them to him, he was kicking those all out. Oh, you know what he's doing? He's gone over to his water bowl and he's chewing on the banana, but he's planning on dunking it in the water to soften and rehydrate it. And it's weird, because when I give him fresh banana, he won't eat it, neither of them. But look, if he's enjoying the dried banana, I might actually buy that more often too. Yeah, he's dunking it, and he goes like this. And I think it's more really play. He's not really interested in eating it that much. He's nibbling at it and holding it in his claw and licking all the moisture off the edge of the banana, dunking it again. Oh, he's a happy bird. Right, there's our gameplay of what the Kermie's doing. And Mama T will carry on reading Boadicea, chapter 21. Smoke choked them all. It rose, yellow and grey, thick as sheep's wool and pungent from the smoke pots, and snaked out across the foreshore. Where it met the sea, it spread sideways into the troughs between the waves and was scooped into handfuls by the water. On land it met the rock and the wind and rose between them, coming up to eye height and hanging there, forming a veil, easily torn between this world and others, through which the unwary could readily fall. Oh, I'm wearing Charlie's model of her beak that I think the turkeys dug up, but that the spirits had told me to go and find. Told me even where to look. Didn't know what they were sending me to look for, but as soon as I saw it, I realised that it was important to them that I have this memento mori of Charlie. So I had another look at the rhinoceros beetle piece of his front mandible. I was going to make a mould similar to this and wear it too, but it's a big round chunky piece. It will take a shit ton of silver, and when you make it in the Delft mould, you can't really leave hollow holes as such. Maybe you could, maybe I could dig some of it out, but I don't know. I've decided not to bother. The message was received loud and clear though, because I googled the meaning of rhinoceros beetles, and it's perseverance, strength, like representing the armour. So it's a potent message, and I can take that. It makes perfect sense, especially what I've been going through in the last 12 months. So I decided not to turn it into, although, on another level, maybe I should keep it as a talisman. But how many talismans does one Jewish witch need? I mean, this is a potent talisman, absolutely. Every time I wear it when I'm out, people are extra kind to me, which is lovely. I've still got to put another prong on where I lost the prong though, and maybe some more prongs on top. I haven't got round to doing that. But anyway, it was just such a supernatural, beautiful event. I mean, I was freaked out because I was under orders by something I couldn't see, but it was such a powerful event the day I made this. 27th of April, I think it was, that I sat up and took notice. I thought, if my angels want me to have something from my much beloved, beautiful Charlie bird, then I'm not going to argue with them. Although I did argue, got tired. I was still working on it at 10 o'clock at night. So I can't possibly do this anymore. I'm tired. Nope, you're going to finish it. And so I did. The following day, of course, I polished it all up. Charlie and I were very close, so it gives me comfort to have a piece of her, a reminder of her around my neck. I made a little resin heart with some of Beauregard's tail that I wove into it. So that's on, I've put that above his photograph that Jared made of him dressed up as a Viking. It's got that resin heart. It's got two, but the one with the resin heart is on top of the frame, and the other one's down below. Sort of making use of all the lovely mementos and souvenirs of my beautiful pets. It's all we've got left of them. Kumi's like, don't look at me, Mama T. No, you're going to live a long time, my boy. And you, Charlie. And you, Bo. Please, God. It's been enough fucking ghastly horror. But of course, they live or die at their appointed times also. Don't really have any control over it, do we? But they're healthy and they're happy. I tell you what, little Bo, when he came, was depressed for months. He was depressed about having a new house and a new owner, and really sat and head down. I actually thought he was going to die. He was in such grief and depression. And then when I bought him the bigger cage, I thought, oh, well, he'll perk up a bit. But it actually took him a few more weeks of being in a larger cage before he suddenly realised, actually, I've got room to move and I've got it good here. And then he became more settled and happier. And now he's looking at me. Yes, I'm talking about you, little Bo. He's a very happy little bird. He's perky and mischievous and interactive and listens to my voice and interacts, and they're both much, much happier. But they arrived on the 13th of May, so it's nearly 8 months, isn't it? May. Yeah, it's nearly 8 months that I've had them here. So we've developed a bit of a relationship, the birdie boys and I. They still don't sit on my finger or sit on my shoulder. We don't have that level of intimacy, but they're getting used to me. They're not so frightened of me anymore. When I put my hand in their cage, they just look at me, you know. And they're not shying away from me all the time. I was a bit depressed about that actually for a few months. I was like, what a shame I've got these birds and I can only look at them. But now they kind of interact with me. Here he is, looking at me. What you doing, Bo? You climbing? He's a pretty boy. There's Kermie with his banana. Right, he's enjoying dunking that banana. Right, let's carry on. I just wanted to tell you about my decision I've made about the rhinoceros horn, but I might change my mind. I might turn it into a blob of silver later on. I'm not sure about that. It's so beautiful, black and shiny. I like it just as it is. I might put it in my I bought a little glass stone from IKEA and I put the little opal that I made in it with this beautiful little tree, amethyst and copper tree that Sally gave me. So I might put it in with those. Just add to the mystical and unusual. Right. Corvus's cavalry had fallen through it. The smoke that separated this world from the next. Corvus's cavalry had fallen through it, those who had survived the fold in Manannan Sea. Of the 1,000 who had left the mainland, over half had drowned. That's horrific, isn't it, people of Earth? There's a lot of souls lost to the sea. The remainder sat shivering on their horses, staring blindly into smoke that swirled tight as bandages about their eyes. Corvus had not ordered their surrender, but neither had he led them into battle. It seemed unlikely that they could have gathered wit to obey him in either of these, if he had. Even so, the 500 warriors of Mona had not set about them, and there were as yet no Roman dead. There had been many dead in Granny's fire weaving. Bellos the blind, who alone of those at the foreshore was not newly blinded, felt the first faint line of a schism grow between the fire fancy that Granny had woven and the reality that was building in the half-lands between sea and shore. And it worried him. He wanted to find Luan MacCalma to learn why the change had happened, but greater things were needed of him. And the first of those was to fulfill his part in the future that the Boadicea's daughter had built. "3,000 dreamers stood shoulder to shoulder along the foreshore. Belos walked in front of them, closer to the line of pots that he and Granny had filled and others had set out. Smoke rose from them in puffs and was denser in patches where the small fires smouldered. After a while, as he came to recognise the pattern of their placing, he held his breath when he was close to them and breathed more deeply of the clearer air in between. Following his path of the morning, he walked down to the place where Granny had lain. He had noticed nothing special about it then and found nothing different now. But he had seen the place afresh in the fire, and there had been an anchoring to it that had mattered and was not found elsewhere. Breathing in a chestful of thinning smoke, he lay down on his belly and tried to root himself against the first whispers of men's imaginings that came at him from the far side of the straits. It was not easy now when it mattered most. Other thoughts crowded where there should have been clarity. A thorn was at the far southerly end of the line, a long way out of reach. She had wanted to hold him, to talk, and perhaps more, in the morning, and Belos had chosen to follow Granny instead. There had been no time to speak to her after, only a hand's touch in passing, and a silence that he could not read. Hello, beautiful boy. Have you come for the grain? No, Mama, I've come for the lorikeet mix. Turkey ate most of it. Won't be much left in that bowl. No, it's empty. He's poking at it with disgust. There's plenty of seeds for you. I bought a massive fucking sack, so I hope you're going to eat it, guys. $29 worth of seeds. But they prefer the lorikeet mix, which is $34 worth. Oh well. It is what it is. You still eating that banana, Cammy? Is it good? He's developed... Oh, he dropped it. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause you to drop it. You enjoyed that though, didn't you? It's going down to pick it up again. Good boy. I'm happy you're eating that. You won't eat fresh banana, but you'll eat dried banana. It took you a while to get the hang of it. He's picked up another dried piece. I think what he likes is just dunking it, like dunking your biscuits in your tea. Look at this guy. Look Look at you. He's a pretty boy. He's a pretty boy. Yes. The people of Earth are looking at you, little Bo. They're saying, look at that cute cockatiel. He likes that ladder. That ladder was in Kermie's cage, and I moved it in. And he actually likes it better than the ladder he's got in his cage inside the house, which is a narrower ladder. Oh, you are a very happy bird. You got all the accoutrements. You got it all going on. What's the mama got going on? Nothing. Nothing. But they're happy. And if they're happy, I'm happy. Yes, Kermie. Right, where were we, people of Earth? Got distracted by the Bo's cuteness. Right, yes, hands touching and passing in a silence that he could not read. Granny herself was not far behind the line, with her triad of warrior dreamers to keep her safe, or to attempt it. Hawk, Dubornos and Guinevere. Over the 2 days since their arrival, Bellos had come to know and respect each of them. He had felt their fears for the child and the degree to which they swamped any concern for their own safety. He had wanted to ease them and had not known how. What, you want more lorikeet mix? Look, you got all that big bowl of seeds down there. Yes, you're a crow. Stop being annoying. He's chucking the bowl to show me. They let you know in no uncertain terms, birds. They might not speak English, but they let you know when things aren't right. I got told off by little Bo this morning because I change their water every morning, give them fresh water. But every time I take his bowl of water away, he thinks that I'm not going to bring water back, and he glares at me and freaks out. And then when I bring him his fresh bowl of water, he looks at me as to say, how dare you? And then he struts over to it and has a drink, and then looks at me and goes, because then he's understood that it was the fresh water. But he really bosses me around, the little one. It's the sweetest thing. I've never had such a bossy bird before. I guess Charlie used to boss me around too, but I wasn't all that conscious of it. But this one is a real little man. He's a bossy man bird. He is le coq suprême at sacred space. Shh, don't tell Kermie. He thinks he's the boss. Cutest things. Yes, you're my cutie little baby bird. I'm 45, Mum. All right, whatever. I mean, in probably bird years equivalent. I don't know how old they are actually. I've had them for 8 months, but Phoebe had them for 2 years, so, and they came to her as adult birds too, so they're probably about, I don't know, 5 or 6, something like that. Mr. Crow. Mr. Crow, there's food. It's just not the food you want. Listen to him. My goodness. My goodness. He's flown off in disgust. I'll have to fill up that lorikeet mix, but I actually only want it for the lorikeets. So I'll wait till the lorikeets come before I fill it up. Right, where were we? He had wanted to ease their concerns and had not known how. Right. He set them aside. His lover, the warriors, the child they protected. How nice, a protected child. Never mind, we won't go there, people of Earth. And sought instead the heart swell of Mona and all that he loved of it. He sought and found the dreams of past elders, strong and durable as taproots, that grew down through the generations from the far ancestors who had first built the great house to the latest, youngest, most valuable generation, who might yet live to see its destruction or die very soon before. Among the leavings of the old and the very old, men and women, grandmothers and grandfathers, he found traces of Luan Mac Calma's passing, brighter and younger than the rest, looping across from one route to the next, building of them a network that formed the core of the God's Island. Beneath, deeply, lay the undercurrent that was the care of the gods and sustained them all. Finding that, Belos brought himself back to the shore, to seaweed and the mewling of gulls, to rich, heady smoke belching from Granny's firepots, to the line of dreamers and the calm they held, to the distant, discordant maelstrom that was the oncoming legionaries. Breathing in all of it, Belos opened his mind as he had once done by the fireside and sought out the fears of the men who came to kill him. Fire, flames, heat, death. Kumi's actually eating that Brussels sprout. I didn't think he would. I guess they can't. Maybe they don't differentiate between sweet and bitter. Or maybe it's a unique taste sensation and he's enjoying it. Well, spank me ass and call me Tanya. I can't believe you're eating that, my boy. Here comes the scrub turkey. He's eating the seeds, thank the goddess. Not wasted after all. Right. In the world of others' fears, he met a wall of ravening, insatiable flames that ate men for the joy of it. Heat devoured him, roasting his skin to flaking black, boiling his blood, reaching down into his lungs to suck his soul from his body. If he could have run, he would have done, but his limbs would not answer his call. He lay face down in the damp shingle, and sweat streamed from his brow as it had once done in the heat of Valerius's forge. His face burned. He tried to breathe, and every inhalation was painful. He choked and felt blackness closing at the edges of his mind that was quite different from the dark of his unsight. Somewhere, Mac Calma spoke, cool as a winter's kiss. Remember that this world is an illusion. He had forgotten. He drank in the words and remembered. Steam rose within his chest where they settled. Calm followed slowly, and a separating of the flames so that he could begin to see the men behind them and the weave of their thinking. Why fire? Makama was there in person, kneeling at his side with a dry hand on his brow. Kermie's chewing on the almond shell. The almond that's still in its shell. There was only one in the mix. He's actually nibbling on it. He's really enjoying foraging today, playing with his toys. Good boy, Kermie. Yes, you're playing with your toys. Good boy. Happy bird. Happy birdie. They seemed a bit depressed this morning when I got up and opened up their curtains and opened up the blinds and took the towels off, blankets off the top of their cages. They were just looking at me like this. Well, it was, 11:15. They'd been sat there for all morning. But I said to them, at least it was quiet. And they just looked at me. I said, we're going in the garden, boys. And they just looked at me. But now they're in the garden. Got an ant crawling on me. Now they're out in the garden. They're actually quite happy. Kermie's got another banana chip to dunk in the water. He just dunks them, he doesn't actually eat them much. Oh well. However it works, am I right? Why fire? Makama was there in person, kneeling at his side, with a dry hand on his brow. Bellos strained to find an answer. Thoughts slipped like eels through his grasp, too fast to be caught. He drew back and watched the patterns they made. The legions saw the smoke before they set out, he said eventually. They believe that on Mona, men are burned alive. They fear it above everything else. But not enough to make them turn back. No, it makes them angry. They want to kill everyone who might otherwise burn them. Can you find more beneath the fire that will undermine the rage and weaken them or confuse them so that one man fights his brothers? That would be best. I can try. Bellos might have believed himself an apprentice again, learning his way, but that the wind was on his face and the smoke teased his mind from its moorings, and thorn-faced men who would kill without compunction, and all of Mona faced a ruin that was real. Quietly, the elder of Mona said, you were born for this. You can do what we need, Bellos of Briga. It was not meant to terrify him, but it did. Never before had he been named for a god, and he had not known how much he wanted it, or that he had wanted this god above all of the others. the All-Mother, bringer of life and keeper of death, guardian of the final river and all that lies in the lands beyond life. The lorikeets are here. Hello, lorikeets. I can hear you. He was offered a gift to surpass all gifts and was not certain he deserved it. The hopes and fears of a generation, of all the generations, balanced on his ability to see beyond his own blindness. For that moment, fear of his own failure swamped him so that he was a child again, lost without hope or future in the brothels of the Gaulish seaport. He thought of Valerius and felt the confusion he always felt when he remembered the man who had bought him and why it was done. And then, because of that, he remembered what it had been to see, and that the God had taken sight from him to bring other sight, and even that might not be enough. 4 years of held anger cascaded over him. I know that feeling, baby girls and baby boys. You're lying down in the cool dirt, mister. You're a hot bird. Do you want me to spritz you? To reach over and get the spray bottle just for a moment. Here we go. I'm spritzing you. Hold still. It's like, what, Mama T? I don't know. I'm going to screw that the other way. Long range. There we go. Good boy. Is that nice? It's like, is that nice and cooling? Good boy. And it's straight back to eating. Right. Last evening we had a big electrical thunderstorm blow through. The lightning was so bright it lit up the whole sky. But I had known there was going to be a storm because Turkey was lying down underneath the jasmine bush actually in the shade looking at me all miserable. It wasn't overly hot yesterday. I didn't suffer too much. But anyway, I watched what he did and then I was watching the crows and I thought the sky was still clear and I put away my hammock because I thought it's going to get wet if it rains, and there was no sign of any rain at all. But I just watched the behaviours of the birds and I thought they're acting a bit odd. I think we're going to get a storm. And sure enough, around about 7 p.m, I can't remember if it was 7 or 8 p.m, we did. It wasn't a hell of a lot of rain though. I mean, it rained, but only quite lightly. But storms sometimes pass us by here at Holland Park. But I was very pleased with myself for intuiting that storm. And sometimes I'm more reliable than the bloody Weather Bureau. They so often get things wrong. But anyway, it was a bit strange because there was no real sign, no real anticipation of storms. Usually I get like a funny feeling in my belly about 3 days before, but yeah, I didn't have that. Maybe I've outgrown that. But anyway, I just basically was told in no uncertain terms by the birds, storm's coming. Little Beau's playing with the toys now too. You gonna play with your toys, little Beau? That's what I bought them for you for. Keep you busy and preoccupied. Yes. Yes. Right. He off. All right, we paused at anger cascaded over her. Right. Lewin McCarmer said, Bellos, think. It was enough. Confusion and anger and fear and doubt were a part of him and would always be so. But he knew now how to set them aside and did so. He breathed in the last wisps of grainy smoke and let it rise through the roof of his mouth and loosen its mind in its moorings. Clarity came, and the weavings of the elder roots and the ancestors' dreams, and the bright spark that was Luan McCalma uniting them all. And then the God was there, whom he had always felt and never named. And Bellos was a part of that weaving, and then rose over it, lifted up to skim over the web freely. Both birds are busy preening now. Flames parted and let him through. Spilt wood all down the front. Oh well. Fear came at him, split in two, half from the sea, where men were afraid of the forthcoming battle, half from the mainland, where they were afraid they would miss it. Aloud, Bellos said, Paulinus has not committed them all, only the 20th. Pardon me. The 14th is held in reserve. This is not as it was in Granny's fire-making. It's enough. The rest may come later. Today we need only fight those who come against us now. It was more than enough. 5,000 men came at them in barges, paddling against the current. Bellos steadied himself and cast the net of his mind wide to take them all in, and then, one at a time, began to pick the leaping, writhing fear fish from it and bring them back for those who could make best use of them. Kind of a form of loosh harvesting. Feeding from people's fears, people of Earth. Our governments and media indulge in that on a regular basis to push their poisonous products on us. Don't comply with the fearmongers. Fuck them. Cost me my progeny. I will never forgive them. Ever. Ever ever, ever. Yes, little boys, you won't have any progeny either unless I get you little girl cockatiels and little girl Indian myna birds. Crossed my mind actually to do that, but that would be a bit mad. Then I'd have to deal with baby birds and then try to find homes for them, which isn't always that simple. And no, I'm just happy with my two little boys. They're going to be bachelors, I'm afraid. Kumi's giving me side eye. What? Oh, you have to laugh. In the world, and I'm reluctant to get females because Charlie died from laying an egg. It was the egg that finally killed her off. It's awful, beyond awful. It's the act of a dying bird though, female bird, is to lay an egg. My chickens used to do that sometimes too, just as they were dying. It's awful. So I was reluctant to take on any more birds, but Avril said, don't worry, these ones are boys, they're not going to die from laying eggs. I said, no, but they could die of something else, because everything fucking dies. She said, yes, but you won't have that constant worry, which is true. And they're happy little boys. In the world of flesh and earth, he pushed his palms to the rock and stood up. Under his feet, stone became shingle, became sand. Around him, a line of 3,000 dreamers faced 12,000 legionaries, and he could feel the sparks of each one and name them, and the colours that they brought to the world, and how the futures would change with their dying. Time opened its own weave, and he could see which were destined to die now, and which later, and when. Thorn was there. He saw her cross the river into Briga's care, and knew the time and the place, and the manner of it. His own detachment surprised him. It gets a bit like that. You become very detached when you're constantly immersed in horror not of your own making. Just sometimes just shrug and reach acceptance, and it's a ghastly horror actually when you no longer care what happens to your fellow species because they have constantly let you down, abused, violated, betrayed, slandered, fucking tortured you, raped you, strangled you, maligned you. You just no longer care anymore. And yet something deep inside your soul, that tiny, tiny spark, reminds me, keep going, psychedelic dreamer. You're in a human body for a reason. Even if every other human mortal being has abandoned and betrayed and neglected and abused you, you don't have to be that person too. Right. I can't see them, but I can hear them. Where's my lorikeet, boys? Don't think that's a lorikeet. No, that's not a lorikeet. What is it? An Indian myna bird. Alright, I'm not putting the lorikeet mix out till the lorikeets come because they don't get a chance otherwise. The other birds take it all. His own detachment surprised him. Doesn't surprise me anymore, people of Earth. On Mona's shore, he set off down the line, walking from one bright light to the next, delivering the images as he was shown them. You are the souls of all the slain grandmothers come to take revenge on their killers. You are children, the walking dead. You are eyeless women dressed in black, mad with grief and terror. And you cannot be killed. None of this was new. He had spoken of the legionaries' fears in the great house as he mouldered the dreaming through the spring. But now he matched the dreamers to the dreaming, spinning threads for each one, connecting them to the legionaries as fishes to their fish. For a few were lesser evils, more readily created. Make the sounds of crow and eagle, mix them together if you can, so that you are many of each attacking in flocks. Throw sand in the air, make it form a snake. Send the grass to writhe amongst them. You are serpents attacking by the hundreds. He reached the end. Thorn was there, alive and ready to meet him, chasing his lips with her finger, holding his palm to her cheek. He said, "You are the gulls feeding on men's eyes." She clasped her hand in his, and he felt the steadiness as of long-rooted oak and the unfear of death. She sighed a little in concentration, and he felt the pull of the sea and the sharp, clear sky and flocks upon flocks of white seabirds rising like the centre of a storm, growing to a tumulus of thunder. Stooping, he kissed her brow. "Thank you. I love you. Don't ever forget it." She pressed a smile into his neck, and he left her, and a hole tore open in his heart. The gaps in his web were all closed. There was nothing left to be said. Balos turned slowly, spreading his feet white on the shingle. A turning wind battered at his face, carrying the stinging spray from the wave tops. He could hear the lip and kiss of paddles in the water and the harsh breathing of many men. Close, so very close. Belus reached for Granny with his mind and found her and basked in the brief joy-grief that flooded them both when she was touched so. Underneath that was a current of doubt, as strong in her as it was in him. They alone had seen the weavings in the fire. They alone knew the extent to which the preparation on the shore was not as she had seen it. Even if it had been, they had no idea at all if it would work. Opening his mind to the God, Belus turned the beacon of his attention on the dreamers around him and the net they had woven that hung, waiting above the incoming men. A man's voice shouted in Latin, like and not like Valerius. A flat-bottomed boat grounded on pebbles. Belus felt a pulse of undiluted terror. From the centre of it, praying, he said, "Now." And thus concludes today's offerings on this beautiful New Year's Day. Have a beautiful day wherever you are on planet Earth, people of Earth, and all other interdimensional entities that come to connect with us here on planet Earth. From the Ein Sof down to Malkut and back up again. The ancestors that love us, our angels and our spirit guides, our wise ones, our teachers of ancient knowledge, gifting us every day in every way, reminding us who we are and who we might yet become. Stay safe, stay happy, stay wild, stay blessed. Bye for now.